core exercises that focus on anterior core as well as core timing. When we're thinking of developing the front core muscles, we also, or core in general, we also want to be thinking about the timing at which those muscles fire appropriately. So the first exercise we're going to go into is a shoulder tap. So this just starts off in a basic push-up position. However, you typically want your hands to be slightly closer together and feet usually hip width apart, but it's subjective to who's doing the exercise. Generally, the wider your feet are, the wider your base of support, the easier it's going to be. So one way to progress this exercise would be simply to move your feet closer together. And then in terms of body, we want a neutral spine from the neck all the way to the tailbone, quads, glutes, core all contracted. To execute this exercise, basically we just want to come up and tap our opposite shoulder without having any change in position. And so often what we see when people do this exercise is they'll have a weight shift or a pelvic rotation. So if you can give me a not good form, you're going to see some of that. And so you want to make sure that you're only completing this exercise if you're able to maintain a neutral spine without any shift, and only do as many reps as you can do well. So you can take a rest there. A good progression for this, once you've mastered just a basic shoulder tap, would be to do a walkout. And so it's going to be a very similar exercise. However, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be challenging the anterior core muscles a little bit more eccentrically, or lengthening the muscles as we contract them. So how this looks is she's going to walk her hands forward. So still making sure that we're considering not having any hip shift or pelvic rotation, and then the distance at which you walk your hands out is dictated on where you feel it and how much control you have. So typically you want to only go as far out as you can stabilize, and that you're isolating the tension in your front of your core muscles, not in your lower back. So that's really good. And then a third way, a slightly different way to progress it, is to be adding a band around the hands. And so for this variation, we're going to be challenging the core muscles from a slightly different plane and having a lateral pull. And so she's going to walk her hands out and then walk them back in. So as we do this, again, all the same rules apply. We want to keep all the neutrality happening in her pelvis and spine as she comes out and as she comes back in. And then again, we're just targeting the muscles from a little bit more of a lateral force. Another thing to keep in mind here is we're also challenging the shoulder stabilizing muscles and the scapula. So we also want to keep good form and having a nice flat ridge from her scapula or her shoulder blade onto her rib cage. So those are a few different ideas for how you can progress some of your anterior core work with the emphasis of core timing.